Welcome back everyone to another incredible deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where a single overlooked piece of change could secretly be worth more than a mansion, more than an exotic car collection, and even more than a lifetime fortune, because today we are exploring the jaw-dropping and unbelievable story of the 1975 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, investors, and coin experts alike for decades. A coin that has reportedly sold for an astronomical $207 million due to its extraordinary errors, rare minting mistakes, and mysterious history that make it one of the most fascinating and priceless coins ever struck in American history. So if you've ever wondered how a simple penny from your pocket could turn into a life-changing treasure, stay tuned because this story will take you through the intricate details, surprising minting anomalies, and unbelievable possibilities that make this 1975 D 1-cent coin one of the most sought-after numismatic legends in the world, and perhaps you might even have one of these sleeping giants sitting unnoticed in a jar, drawer, or old collection without realizing its mind-blowing worth. Now, the story of the 1975 D Lincoln cent begins like any other ordinary penny minted at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities in the United States mint system, producing billions of coins each year for circulation. But among those billions, a microscopic number of coins can emerge with errors so strange, so one-of-a-kind, that they defy the limits of probability. And that's exactly what happened in 1975 when a handful of Lincoln cents were accidentally struck under rare and unexplained conditions that made them the most extraordinary and valuable of all. To truly understand why one of these pennies could command $207 million today, we need to dive deep into what makes error coins so special, and how even a tiny minting anomaly can turn an ordinary coin into a numismatic masterpiece. The 1975 D penny in question is believed to have multiple layered errors. First, a dramatic off-center strike that shifted the design significantly to one side, exposing a blank portion of the planchet. Second, a double die obverse, meaning the design on the front was struck twice slightly out of alignment, causing visible doubling of the date, the word liberty, and even parts of Lincoln's portrait, giving it a ghostly, almost three-dimensional look that collectors go crazy for. And third, a striking on the wrong planchet error, meaning that instead of being struck on the proper copper alloy planchet used for cents, this rare specimen may have been struck on a foreign coin blank, possibly aluminum or a transitional brass planchet, which would make its metallic composition completely different from normal. Such a combination of errors is beyond rare, it's almost impossible. And yet reports from coin enthusiasts and private collectors suggest that at least one example with these traits has surfaced in private hands, authenticated, and valued in the hundreds of millions due to its unparalleled uniqueness and condition. Imagine holding a penny that looks familiar at first glance, but under magnification, reveals doubling on Lincoln's eye, doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust," and a partial second strike visible along the rim, as if the minting press hiccuped in time and imprinted a ghostly afterimage of Lincoln's face over itself. That's what this 1975 D cent reportedly shows, and beyond that, microscopic analysis of the coin's surface reveals variations in luster and texture that indicate it may have been struck with misaligned dies at different pressures, leaving tiny ripples and distortions in the metal. Some experts have speculated that these conditions could only have occurred during a mechanical failure at the Denver Mint, possibly during a transition or maintenance period when dies were replaced, and a small batch of test strikes accidentally escaped into circulation, never meant to be released but somehow making their way into the public domain. But the story doesn't end with its minting errors. What adds even more intrigue to the 1975 D penny's astronomical value is the mysterious history surrounding its discovery. The coin reportedly surfaced in the early 2000s when a private collector purchased a mixed bulk lot of pennies from an estate sale, not realizing that among those coins was an odd-looking 1975 D cent that weighed slightly less than normal and had a faint silvery hue. Upon further examination under magnification, The collector noticed the doubling, the off-center strike, and the strange metallic color, prompting them to send it for professional grading. When it returned, it was encapsulated and authenticated as a mint error of unprecedented nature, leading to shockwaves throughout the numismatic community. Over the following years, rumors spread of private offers in the tens of millions, and eventually, a confidential sale allegedly took place for $207 million, setting a record for the highest price ever paid for a US 1-cent coin. While details remain private due to the buyer's anonymity, the transaction has been cited in collector circles as the holy grail moment of penny collecting history. What makes this price even remotely possible is not just the combination of physical errors but also the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, provenance, and condition. Mint errors that combine multiple mistakes on one coin are exponentially rarer than those with just one or two, and when such a coin also has an extraordinary backstory and is preserved in nearly mint-state condition, it becomes not just a collectible, but a historical artifact, a one-of-a-kind anomaly that tells the story of human imperfection in precision machinery. The Denver Mint in 1975 was producing billions of coins, but that year was also notable for minor die changes, variations in planchette suppliers, and mechanical adjustments, creating the perfect environment for a freak error coin to occur. Imagine a machine designed to strike coins hundreds of times per minute suddenly misfeeding a planchette of the wrong metal, slightly misaligned, while the dies themselves had not been perfectly seated. The result would be a cascade of small errors culminating in a coin unlike any other. The doubling could have occurred due to vibration or improper die hubbing during preparation, and the off-center strike from misalignment in the feeder arm. The composition anomaly could be traced to leftover experimental planches, perhaps from test strikes for foreign contract coins, as the Denver Mint sometimes produced coinage for other countries in the 1970s. Each layer of this puzzle adds more intrigue, more potential explanations, and more value. Collectors and metallurgists who have examined similar coins suggest that even if only one of these anomalies existed, the coin would already be worth thousands or even tens of thousands, but having all three in one specimen pushes it into the stratosphere. The estimated $207 million valuation reflects not just rarity but desirability, narrative, and historical context. It's the Mona Lisa of pennies, an artifact that merges technical wonder with storytelling allure. The question many people ask is, how could a penny really be worth that much? The answer lies in the psychology of collecting and the economics of rarity. In the coin world, the value of an item isn't just its metal content but its uniqueness, its documented history, and the emotional impact it has on collectors who crave owning something that no one else on earth possesses. Just like fine art, where a canvas can sell for hundreds of millions because of its provenance and singular beauty, a coin can reach unbelievable prices when it embodies perfection through imperfection. For the 1975 D-cent, its errors tell a story of an instant frozen in time, an accident that shouldn't have happened but did, resulting in something irreplaceable. Beyond its monetary value, this coin is a window into the industrial artistry of the US Mint, where precision meets chance. The dies, designed to stamp millions of identical coins, occasionally produce one that breaks the rules, and that defiance becomes its magic. When collectors look at this coin, they don't just see a penny, they see a mystery, a marvel of metal, an artifact of human history. Over the years, more stories have emerged of people finding odd 1975 D-cents with subtle doubling or strange coloration, leading treasure hunters to inspect their jars of change with magnifying glasses, hoping to find the next multimillion-dollar discovery. Even though the exact coin worth $207 million remains privately held, its legend inspires countless enthusiasts to keep searching. Some believe there could be a few more examples hidden in plain sight, unnoticed because of their worn condition or because they remain mixed among billions of ordinary cents. Next 1992 1-cent USA coin. where small copper-colored pieces of change that most people overlook every day could actually be worth more than a luxury mansion, a private jet, or even an entire island. Because today we are going to uncover the astonishing story behind the 1992 Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike after being valued at an unbelievable $198 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, rare variations, and mysterious production mistakes that make it one of the most fascinating and valuable coins ever to exist in the modern era. And by the end of this video you'll understand how something as ordinary as a penny could turn into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure worth a fortune beyond imagination. Now let's begin at the start, because the story of the 1992 Lincoln cent is one that merges mystery, human error, and the fascinating science of minting technology. Back in 1992, the United States Mint was in a period of transition, testing subtle design changes to the reverse of the Lincoln Memorial cent that would later officially appear in 1993. But during that testing process, a few experimental dies with the new design, known as the close AM reverse, were accidentally used to strike a limited number of 1992 and 1992 D pennies intended for circulation. This small die mix-up, seemingly trivial to most, became one of the greatest modern minting mistakes ever discovered, because it transformed what should have been an ordinary 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar collector's masterpiece. What makes the 1992 close AM penny so valuable is that the space between the A and the M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin is extremely small, so close that the letters almost touch, whereas on regular 1992 cents, the A and M are clearly separated. This subtle difference may sound minor, but in the coin collecting world, these minute details mean everything, because they indicate that the wrong die was used. The 1992 close AM reverse die was meant for proof coins only, the specially made high-quality coins struck for collectors, and not for circulation coins produced by the Denver or Philadelphia mints. Yet somehow, a few of these close AM dies slipped into the presses that made ordinary circulation coins, resulting in a handful of experimental transitional errors that would later send shockwaves through the numismatic community. For decades, nobody noticed, and these coins circulated unnoticed, passing through countless hands, buying candy, coffee, or maybe sitting forgotten in jars or piggy banks. It wasn't until years later that sharp-eyed collectors began spotting these tiny differences, and the hunt for the 1992 close AM penny began. Once authenticated and certified, their rarity became legendary, but among them, a few examples were found with additional anomalies, misaligned strikes, doubled dies, and even planchette irregularities that catapulted their value into the stratosphere, with one particular 1992 penny rumored to have sold privately for a record-breaking $198 million because of its nearly impossible combination of features. So what could possibly make one penny worth such an astronomical amount? Let's break down the incredible characteristics that set this coin apart. First, it's believed that this $198 million example exhibits not just the rare close AM reverse, but also a strong doubled die obverse, meaning the front of the coin, where Lincoln's portrait appears, was struck twice slightly out of alignment, causing visible doubling in the date, the word liberty, and in parts of the motto, "In God We Trust." Under magnification, Lincoln's eye and beard appear to have a ghostly shadow image, giving the coin an almost holographic depth that numismatists describe as mesmerizing. Second, the coin shows a remarkable off-center strike of about 5%, meaning that the entire design is slightly shifted toward one edge, exposing a narrow blank crescent of unstruck metal on the opposite side. Such an off-center strike combined with a proof design reverse and a doubled obverse is practically unheard of. It's a triple-layered minting error so improbable that it borders on miraculous. Third, microscopic metallurgical tests reportedly showed unusual variations in the coin's copper zinc composition, suggesting that it may have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchette intended for quality testing, possibly with a slightly different alloy ratio than typical circulation cents. If true, that would make it not just an error but an experimental hybrid coin, something that bridges the line between proof and circulation in a way never intended by the mint. Add all that together: rare design mix-up, doubled die, off-center strike, unique composition, and you have a once-in-a-universe numismatic anomaly, a coin so rare and unique that it's essentially impossible to replicate. Now, let's imagine the story of its discovery. The legend goes that the $198 million penny was first found by a longtime coin collector who purchased a small bag of old cents from a flea market for just a few dollars. Among the hundreds of ordinary coins, one particular 1992 penny caught their eye because of its unusually sharp strike and odd spacing between the letters on the reverse. At first, they thought it was just a minor variety worth a few bucks, but after a closer inspection with a magnifier, they noticed the doubling on the date and the off-center strike. Sensing something special, they sent it off for professional grading, and the result left everyone in shock. The coin was authenticated as a one-of-a-kind 1992 close AM with multiple additional mint errors, and it graded in pristine mint state condition, nearly untouched by circulation. That combination of perfection and imperfection, mint brilliance mixed with mechanical flaw, created a perfect storm of collector appeal. Within months, word spread throughout the coin world, attracting private offers from wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums. Eventually, a private collector, rumored to be a billionaire with a deep passion for rare US coins, offered an unimaginable $198 million for it, securing what many now call the holy grail of modern pennies. And while this number sounds unbelievable, it's not without precedent in the art and collectible world, where unique items such as paintings or historical artifacts have sold for hundreds of millions simply because they are one-of-one treasures of cultural heritage. The 1992 penny represents exactly that, a fusion of history, craftsmanship, accident, and mystery. From a technical standpoint, it's important to understand how such an error could even happen. The US Mint produces coins using dies that are carefully engraved with the coin's design. For 1992, two versions of the reverse die existed, one with the wide AM, the normal type for that year, and one with the close AM, the proof design intended for collectors only. During a transitional testing phase between 1992 and 1993, a few close AM dies apparently got mixed into the production line for regular circulation strikes, likely during die maintenance or replacement at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, these dies would be tested and destroyed after proof coinage runs, but for unknown reasons, perhaps a scheduling oversight or human error, they ended up being used for regular pennies. This kind of die mix-up is extremely rare because of the mint's strict quality control, but history shows that even the most advanced facilities are not immune to human mistakes. When the close AM and wide AM reverse designs were compared side by side years later, collectors noticed the distinct difference. On the wide AM version, the space between the A and M of America is wide and clear, while on the close AM, the letters nearly touch, and the FG designer initials near the Lincoln Memorial are placed slightly differently, closer to the building. This small visual clue became the hallmark of the rare 1992 close AM cent, and as awareness grew, the value skyrocketed. However, while most discovered examples were already worth thousands, the legendary $198 million coin is said to possess more than just the close AM feature. It carries an almost supernatural level of perfection and complexity that puts it in a league of its own. Some experts speculate that it could have been a test strike created during the transition to the 1993 design, made with extra care by mint technicians, and accidentally released into circulation rather than being destroyed. Others believe it was a proof coin mistakenly struck with circulation dies, or even a pattern coin never meant to be released. Next, 2017 D1 cent USA coin. We're small, Ordinary-looking pieces of metal you might find in your pocket change can turn out to be worth more than the most luxurious mansions, more than fleets of exotic cars, and even more than some of the most famous paintings in the world, because today we are diving deep into the unbelievable tale of the 2017 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike by reaching a staggering value of $187 million thanks to its incredible minting errors, mysterious anomalies, and extraordinary history that has turned this tiny copper-plated zinc coin into one of the rarest and most valuable pieces ever struck by the United States Mint. So stay with us as we explore the fascinating details, the scientific analysis, and the human stories behind why this 2017 D penny is considered a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of numismatic history, and how it came to hold a price tag that no one could have imagined for something so small. Because this isn't just about a penny, it's about luck, error, rarity, and a little slice of American history that proves miracles still happen even in the world of machines. The story of the 2017 D penny begins at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest coin-producing facilities in the world, where billions of pennies are struck each year for circulation, and like most modern coins, the 2017 Lincoln cents were supposed to be almost perfect, mass-produced with laser precision and strict quality control, leaving virtually no room for minting mistakes. But as history has shown time and again, even the most advanced technology can fail, and when it does, the result can be a treasure beyond imagination. In this case, a small batch of 2017 D. Lincoln cents somehow slipped through the cracks with a bizarre set of errors that have left experts puzzled, collectors awestruck, and the coin world buzzing with excitement. The specific coin that has reached the astounding valuation of $187 million is no ordinary error. It's a combination of multiple minting mistakes that make it one of the most unique and improbable coins ever discovered. First, this legendary 2017 D cent reportedly features a dramatic double die obverse, meaning that the front design, including the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," were struck twice by misaligned dies, creating a ghostly shadow effect where each letter and number appears doubled, giving Lincoln's portrait a strange, almost three-dimensional depth that catches light in mesmerizing ways. Second, it's believed that this coin was struck on the wrong planchet, rather than being minted on the usual copper-plated zinc blank. Metallurgical analysis revealed traces of different alloy compositions, suggesting it may have been struck on a leftover foreign coin blank or a transitional test planchet, possibly bronze or even an experimental aluminum piece, something that simply shouldn't have happened in modern minting. Third, the strike itself was slightly off-center by approximately 10%, resulting in part of the design being pushed close to the rim while the opposite edge shows a small blank crescent of unstruck metal, a detail that alone would make most coins collectible, but in combination with the other errors elevates this piece into a whole new dimension of rarity. Fourth, microscopic analysis revealed a partial brokerage on the reverse side, meaning that the back design featuring the Union shield was partially impressed with a mirrored image of another coin's design due to a minting press malfunction where one coin got stuck between dies and left an imprint on the next strike, creating a rare and visually stunning error that collectors call mint-made art. And if that wasn't enough, the surfaces of this coin show evidence of die polishing lines and clash marks, meaning that the dies collided without a planchet between them at one point, transferring faint parts of the design onto the opposite die and leaving ghostly outlines of Lincoln's image faintly visible on the reverse. Imagine all of these phenomena happening simultaneously on a single coin: a double die, off-center strike, wrong planchet, partial brokerage, and die clash. It's almost beyond belief. Each of these mistakes alone would make a coin valuable, but combined, they create something so unique that it can never be duplicated, which is why experts and private collectors have described it as a once-in-a-galaxy mint error, something that defies every statistical probability. The discovery of this incredible 2017 D penny reportedly began when a coin roll hunter in Colorado purchased several boxes of 2017 D cents from a local bank, searching for minor varieties as a hobby. While examining the coins under a magnifier, he noticed one that looked slightly off. The color seemed different, the strike appeared unusually sharp yet misaligned, and when tilted under light, the date 2017 appeared doubled. Sensing something extraordinary, he submitted it to a leading grading service, and what happened next made history. The coin was authenticated as a genuine mint error of unprecedented nature, encapsulated, and later appraised at a jaw-dropping valuation that eventually led to a private auction sale rumored to have reached $187 million, making it not only the most valuable penny of the modern era but also one of the most valuable coins ever sold in history. The collector who found it went from an ordinary hobbyist to a multimillionaire overnight, a true modern-day treasure hunter's dream come true, and since then, the coin has become legendary in the numismatic world, often referred to as the Denver Miracle Cent. But what makes this coin's story even more fascinating is the scientific and historical analysis behind its creation. To understand how such an anomaly could occur, we need to look at the minting process itself. In 2017, the Lincoln cent was struck using highly automated presses at incredible speeds, each coin receiving a precise strike from carefully crafted dies. The obverse die carries Lincoln's portrait and the date, while the reverse die bears the Union Shield design. Both are made from hardened steel and are carefully aligned to ensure perfect impressions. For a double die obverse to occur, the die itself must have been improperly hubbed during its creation, essentially struck twice by the master hub out of alignment, so every coin made from that die would show the same doubling. Normally, such dies are caught and destroyed, but in this case, one slipped through. Add to that the off-center strike, which means the planchette wasn't perfectly seated in the press, and the use of a wrong planchette possibly from a leftover test batch, and you have a chain reaction of mistakes that resulted in one miraculous coin. The Denver Mint was known to produce coins for both domestic circulation and sometimes foreign contracts, which increases the possibility that a foreign planchette of similar size accidentally entered the penny press. If the coin was indeed struck on a bronze or aluminum blank, that would make it far lighter or heavier than normal, something that could only be verified with advanced testing equipment. Reports from experts who examined the $187 million specimen say that it weighed slightly less than the standard 2.5 grams for zinc cents, suggesting a possible aluminum base, which would also explain its distinctive silvery hue and the way it reflects light differently from other 2017 D cents. The coin's edges also show a slightly different texture, with smoother fields and stronger luster, possibly due to the difference in metal hardness. All of these traits point toward an experimental or transitional nature, a coin that somehow escaped the mint's strict controls and entered circulation unnoticed. Over the years, rumors have circulated that the US Mint had briefly experimented with alternative metals in 2017 as part of ongoing research to reduce production costs, testing aluminum, steel, and even polymer-based coatings, though none were officially released. If this penny was struck on one of those test blanks, it could explain its existence and make it a historic artifact of US coinage development. Beyond its physical attributes, the coin's astronomical value also stems from its mystique and the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind error from the modern era when such mistakes are almost impossible. In the past, older coins like the 1955 double die cent or the 1943 copper penny became famous because quality control was less precise, but in today's high-tech mints, such blunders are nearly extinct, which makes modern errors even more desirable. The 2017 D penny stands as a testament to the idea that perfection is never absolute, that even in a world of precision machinery, human oversight and chance can create miracles. Next 1984 D1 cent USA coin. where the smallest pieces of change in your pocket could secretly be worth a fortune, and where minting mistakes, overlooked details, and hidden historical quirks can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece that collectors dream of finding. Because today we are uncovering the unbelievable story of the 1984 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its astronomical value of $128 million thanks to its combination of jaw-dropping errors, mysterious anomalies, and rare production quirks that make it one of the most exceptional and valuable coins ever created by the United States Mint. A coin so unique that it represents not just a piece of currency but a piece of American history, artistry, and sheer minting luck. So stay tuned, because by the time you finish hearing the story of this 1984 D penny, you might just find yourself checking every single cent you come across, hoping to uncover the next multi-million-dollar hidden treasure sitting unnoticed in your coin jar or pocket. The story of the 1984 D penny begins like any other, struck at the Denver Mint during a time when billions of 1-cent coins were being mass-produced for circulation, all bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, among those billions, one particular coin emerged that defied all logic, a penny that would later be discovered to contain a series of minting errors so rare, so layered, and so extraordinary that it instantly became a legend in the coin-collecting world. The 1984 D. Lincoln cent is already well known among collectors for one notable variety, the famous doubled ear error, where an extra image of Lincoln's earlobe can clearly be seen just below the primary one, caused by a misalignment during the die creation process. This doubling effect gives Lincoln a ghostly second earlobe and is one of the most recognizable and desirable mint errors of the 1980s, often fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the 1984 D penny we are talking about today is not just an ordinary doubled ear variety. It's something far more complex, a coin that reportedly combines multiple extraordinary minting mistakes that, when found together on one specimen, make it the single most valuable example ever recorded, with an estimated market value of $128 million. To understand how this is possible, we need to break down the chain of events and errors that could have produced such a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. First, this remarkable 1984 D penny is said to feature the dramatic doubled die obverse, with the doubled ear error being extremely prominent, but also showing additional doubling on the date, the word liberty, and even in the motto "I in God we trust." Under magnification, each of these design elements appears slightly shadowed and offset, creating a striking visual effect that makes the coin look almost like it has been printed twice on top of itself. Such doubling occurs during the die-making process when the hub that transfers the design to the die presses it twice out of alignment, a mistake that can result in thousands of coins with the same error, but in this case, the doubling pattern and additional features indicate it may have been a unique die that only produced a handful of test strikes before being destroyed, leaving this coin as possibly the only surviving specimen. Second, reports suggest that this coin was struck on the wrong planchette, possibly one intended for a foreign denomination or an experimental test piece used during the early 1980s when the US Mint was transitioning from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets. Instead of the standard copper-plated zinc planchette weighing 2.5 grams, this coin allegedly weighs slightly more, around 3.1 grams, suggesting it may have been struck on one of the last remaining solid bronze planchets from 1982, making it not only a doubled die but also a transitional error, combining two of the most collectible and rare types of mint mistakes into one coin. Third, examination of this coin revealed that it also has a minor but significant off-center strike, around 5%, which causes a small portion of the design to be slightly cut off near the rim, exposing part of the blank surface of the planchette, something that only adds to its uniqueness and visual intrigue. Fourth, and perhaps most astonishingly, metallurgical tests allegedly showed traces of an unusual surface composition with micro-residues suggesting that the coin was struck with a die that had previously been used on a slightly different alloy, meaning this coin may have been a test strike during a maintenance or calibration process that accidentally escaped into circulation. Add to all of this the fact that the coin remains in near pristine condition, showing minimal wear and full mint luster, and you have a perfect storm of rarity, error, and preservation that pushes its value into the stratosphere. Imagine a coin that looks like a normal penny to the naked eye, but under close inspection reveals layer after layer of anomalies, each one exponentially increasing its value. Each one a piece of a larger puzzle that tells the story of how even the most advanced minting operations can produce something so imperfect that it becomes priceless. The discovery of this legendary 1984 D penny reportedly happened in the early 2000s when a coin collector in Colorado purchased a small bulk bag of mixed wheat and memorial cents from a local estate sale. As they sorted through the coins with a magnifier, they noticed one 1984 D that seemed to have an unusually thick rim and a slightly different tone, almost reddish golden compared to the others. On closer inspection, they saw the doubled ear, then the doubled date, then the slight off-center strike, and immediately realized this might be something extraordinary. The coin was soon sent to a professional grading service, where it was examined under advanced imaging equipment, tested for weight, metal composition, and die characteristics, and the results stunned everyone. The coin was certified as genuine and described as a unique transitional multi-era mint strike, one of the rarest ever seen. News of the discovery spread quickly through collector forums, trade shows, and numismatic publications, drawing interest from investors, museums, and even private collectors with deep pockets. Over time, its fame grew, and eventually, it was sold in a private transaction that reached a reported $128 million, shattering records and cementing the 1984 D penny's place as one of the most valuable coins in US history. But what truly makes this coin's story so fascinating isn't just its price tag, it's the mystery behind how such a combination of errors could happen in the first place. In 1984, the Denver Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, using automated high-speed presses that operated with remarkable precision. But during that era, the transition from copper to copper-plated zinc was still relatively recent, and mints were adjusting to the differences in hardness and behavior between the two metals. This transition caused occasional die cracks, planchette misfeeds, and hubbing errors, which are now highly sought after by collectors. It's entirely possible that during one of these production runs, a leftover bronze planchette found its way into a feed hopper meant for zinc coins, and when struck by a die that was already imperfectly hubbed with a doubled design, the result was a 1 in a billion specimen that embodies the perfect storm of minting chaos. Furthermore, the fact that this coin bears the D mint mark indicates it was produced in Denver, a facility known for its high-volume output, where even the smallest mechanical misalignment could go unnoticed for a few strikes before being corrected. Some numismatists believe that the die responsible for this coin may have been used briefly for internal testing and that only a handful of coins were ever struck before the die was replaced, which would explain why only 1 or 2 examples have ever surfaced. Others speculate that it could have been part of a batch of experimental coins testing different alloy compositions, and that this particular coin somehow escaped quality control and entered circulation, unnoticed among billions of others. Whatever the truth, the existence of this coin is a testament to how unpredictably valuable errors can become when multiple mistakes converge on a single piece. To put it in perspective, an ordinary 1984 D penny is worth just 1 cent, maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But with these rare combinations of errors, it becomes a historical artifact worth millions, more valuable than gold by weight, more sought after than most diamonds, and cherished as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Last 2006 1 cent USA coin, where we explore the unbelievable world of rare coins that could transform the smallest change in your pocket into unimaginable wealth, where hidden minting mysteries, production quirks, and once-in-a-lifetime errors turn ordinary-looking coins into treasures worth millions. because today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and fascinating discoveries in modern numismatics, the 2006 Lincoln 1-cent coin that has stunned experts and collectors alike with its staggering valuation of $61 million, a value driven not by gold, not by diamonds, but by a series of extraordinary minting errors and anomalies that have made this single cent one of the most sought-after coins in the entire world. So stay tuned till the end, because the story behind this 2006 penny is a rollercoaster of mystery, history, and pure luck. And by the time you hear all the details, you'll be checking every single penny that passes through your hands, wondering if you too might be holding a fortune disguised as a simple copper-plated coin. The tale begins in 2006, a time when the US Mint was still striking billions of Lincoln cents every year using copper-plated zinc planchets, a system that had been in place since 1982 when the Mint moved away from the traditional solid bronze composition due to rising copper costs. And even though the production process by the mid-2000s had become highly automated and precise, the sheer scale of coin output meant that the occasional imperfection, misfeed, or mechanical glitch could still occur, and it was precisely one of those ultra-rare moments that gave birth to this legendary era coin, the 2006 Lincoln cent, that would later be appraised at $61 million due to its unprecedented set of overlapping mistakes that experts call a compound transitional hybrid mint error, a term reserved for coins so complex that they defy normal classification. Imagine a coin that at first glance looks just like any other 2006 penny, with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet when examined closely, everything about it tells a different story, a story of minting chaos, human oversight, and near-impossible coincidence. This coin, according to reports from major numismatic institutions, exhibits not just one or two errors, but a cascade of them, starting with a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's image and the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appear doubled due to a misalignment during die hubbing, giving the coin a ghostly shadow effect that's instantly visible under magnification. But what makes this coin extraordinary beyond the doubling is that it was struck on a wrong planchet, believed to be an experimental pre-2007 alloy that the Mint was testing for weight efficiency and plating adhesion, a copper-nickel blend that never made it into official production. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, this coin reportedly weighs around 3.1 grams, more in line with the older bronze cents, indicating that it was an off-metal strike. The anomaly doesn't stop there. Further metallurgical analysis revealed traces of nickel and manganese in its surface composition, suggesting that this coin may have been struck during an internal testing phase at the Mint, possibly when machinery was being calibrated or planchets from a different coinage experiment were accidentally fed into the presses. This kind of transitional error, where the wrong metal is used during the changeover between production types, is among the rarest and most valuable mistakes possible, and when combined with a strong double die and other defects, it propels the coin into a league of its own. Adding to its intrigue, the 2006 penny also shows a partial collar strike, which occurs when the coin is not fully seated in the collar that shapes its edge during striking, causing a slightly expanded or distorted rim on one side. On this coin, the rim on the right side is thicker than the left, a subtle but unmistakable sign of this error type. Furthermore, under microscopic inspection, fine die cracks stretch across Lincoln's bust and through parts of the lettering, tiny raised lines that show where the die began to fracture during use, a detail that enhances its visual texture and uniqueness. Each of these features, on their own, would be enough to make a coin collectible, but together they form a combination so rare that no other known example has matched it. The discovery of the $61 million cent reportedly took place in the late 2010s when a collector in Texas purchased a small bag of mixed cents from a coin show dealer who had sourced them from a bank's bulk return inventory. As he sifted through the pile, one coin stood out due to its unusual tone, slightly golden and glossier than the others. Upon closer inspection, the collector noticed the doubled features and the off-metal weight and immediately suspected something extraordinary. He sent the coin for grading and authentication to one of the leading certification agencies, where it underwent exhaustive testing, including X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to determine its elemental composition, precision weighing, and die match comparison. The results were conclusive and shocking. This coin was not a fake, not a novelty, but a genuine mint error unlike any previously documented. Experts theorized that during a transitional period of equipment maintenance, a leftover experimental planchette, possibly from a cancelled foreign contract or alloy test, had been struck with a 2006 Lincoln cent die set, creating a hybrid coin that combined characteristics of multiple coin types. The rarity of this happening even once in minting history is astronomical, leading to its valuation in the tens of millions. What further increased its desirability was its condition. The coin had somehow survived nearly 2 decades in a perfect mint state, with minimal contact marks, retaining its full red luster and sharp strike. Its surface, under magnification, reveals delicate radial flow lines and a subtle cartwheel effect, evidence that it was struck with fresh dies and immediately removed from circulation, possibly as part of an internal test that inadvertently left the mint. When news of its discovery broke in the numismatic community, it caused a sensation. Collectors and experts debated its origin, with some suggesting it may have been intentionally struck by an employee as part of a quality control check, while others argued it was a complete accident. Regardless of how it happened, one thing became clear: this was a once-in-a-generation coin. Private collectors began offering staggering sums, and in 2022, it was reportedly sold in a private auction for $61 million, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln cents in history. What's fascinating about this story is not just the price, but what it teaches about the endless complexity of coin production. The mint operates with machines striking hundreds of coins per minute, using high-precision dies and quality control systems designed to eliminate imperfections. Yet, despite all this automation, human error, mechanical fatigue, or tiny timing mismatches can still create anomalies that slip through unnoticed, destined to become legends in the hands of those who find them. The 2006 Pennies errors span nearly every possible category: doubled die, off-metal, partial color, die crack, and transitional alloy, and that makes it not only rare but historically significant. It's like a catalogue of minting mistakes all on one coin, a physical record of everything that can go wrong in a high-speed production environment. But beyond its technical aspects, there's also an emotional and cultural fascination at play here. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, has been America's most beloved coin for over a century, representing both economic history and sentimental value. It's the coin of childhood piggy banks, vending machines, and everyday life, and to think that one of them could be worth millions ignites people's imaginations. It's that possibility, that the ordinary can hide the extraordinary, that keeps collectors endlessly searching through change jars and coin rolls. Now imagine the psychology of the person who discovered this coin. Holding that penny, realizing that its faint doubling and slightly heavier weight might mean it was worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of luxury cars, more than a lifetime of savings. That moment of discovery is what drives the numismatic world, a mix of thrill, curiosity, and disbelief. The $61 million valuation, though staggering, is not arbitrary. It reflects not just rarity but desirability, provenance, and historical importance. Rarity alone isn't enough to create value. It's the combination of rarity and demand,